More and more people wonder about the future. People wonder about how communities are going to change.
One of the issues is that residential properties are located next to industrial properties, and residents often have to deal with some of the negative impacts of these uses being located next to them. But at the same time, we have to consider that the industrial properties provide jobs, often for people in the community. And so balancing both the impacts of those uses as well as the job creation and economic development of the industrial uses is something that the plan addresses, but also in our own work, we sort of struggled with how to address that in the best way.
There's so many different things that we have to try to balance together. For example, we have wildlife corridors where animals need to migrate through different types of areas like residential areas, commercial areas, wineries, event facilities, equestrian centers, farms. So it's a challenge to try to find that right balance on where we need to put things.
So the planning area that we are currently working in is very large, at around 210 square miles or so, and there's almost 250,000 people that reside in just the unincorporated areas. And so what that means is that the amount of work that we'll have to put into formulating goals and policies that meets everyone's expectations and needs will be a pretty big challenge. In addition, there's a lot of other cities and people with different sets of control over how things are laid out in each of the communities, which is just another layer of challenges that we'll have to work for.
We have so much diversity in Antelope Valley. We have diversity of location, of people, of lifestyles, of opinion. There are communities, in the mountains and in the desert. We have communities next to lakes and nestled in valleys.
Getting the community to really understand what was being proposed and what was not being proposed. There was a lot of disconnect between those two things.
That's where long-range planning comes in. We listen, we engage, we mediate. It can be a difficult process, but planning has value.
LA County is incredibly diverse, not just in its land uses, but also in its population and its communities. And so as a planner, we have to really focus on how to best address those diverse communities we're working with, but still push forward those agendas that the board is asking us to push forward.
Here's how the Department of Regional Planning helps create good places. In the West Service Area, in 2017, the county completed the Santa Monica Mountains Local Coastal Program amendments and the Willowbrook Transit-Oriented District Specific Plan.
So the Willowbrook TOD Specific Plan is a transit-oriented development plan around where the Blue Line and Green Line intersect. It specifically utilizes the existing campus master plan, such as the Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital and the library that's going to undergo renovations, and adds more housing to the area, makes it safer for pedestrians and cyclists, and makes it easier for people to live and work in the area to get around.
In 2018, the county expects to adopt the Florence-Firestone Community Plan, the West Athens-Westmont TOD Specific Plan, and the West Carson TOD Specific Plan. The county will continue efforts related to the Santa Monica Mountains North Area Plan update.
So the project is the Florence-Firestone Community Plan, which is a plan for an unincorporated community in South Los Angeles. The plan itself provides the long-term vision for the community and establishes policies and guidelines for the community's long-term development and conservation over time. The plan proposes a series of 100 implementation actions that are directly addressing needs and concerns and also opportunities that have been brought up to the planners working on this document by residents and workers in the community. And so some of those implementation actions include turning a utility right-of-way into a linear park. Another implementation action is creating a civic center around the community center that already exists in the community to incorporate public space and community services in an area that is near transit and that has bus access and that could serve as a gathering place for the larger community.
Well, the Santa Monica Mountains are a really unique part of LA County. It's actually split into two planning areas. So there's the lower portion, the coastal zone near the Pacific Ocean, and there's the higher portion, which is the north area closer to the 101 freeway. And with the passage of our local coastal program in 2014, we have a huge need to update our North Area Community Plan and our North Area standards so that there's some cohesiveness across the mountains. My favorite part has definitely been just going out there. I'd never actually been out to the Santa Monica Mountains before. I had heard friends that maybe went wine tasting or went to Malibu Creek to go hiking, but I'd never been out there myself. So getting out there, it was just great to see a lot of the community and how each of them really, really appreciates where they live. There's people whose family has been farming for decades there. There's people who ride with their best friends on trails all the way to almost Oxnard. And there's people who just really, really, truly care about the rabbits and the deer and the mountain lions that run through their backyards. So it's really cool how everyone really just appreciates living out there. And thanks for having me.
In the East Service area, in 2017, the county adopted the Altadena Community Standards District update.
This is a comprehensive update of the local zoning laws in the community of Altadena. We updated the uses and development standards in the commercial and residential areas and created a vision for the future, how the community wants to develop. For the community of Altadena, it means for the future, they will have a walkable commercial districts, and they will have flexibility in their residential design standards and development standards. And I think it means more clarity and more ease with working with our zoning code.
In 2018, the county expects to adopt the La Crescenta-Montrose Community Standards District update. The county will continue efforts related to the East San Gabriel Valley Area Plan.
The East San Gabriel Valley Area Plan is a plan that will help guide growth in the unincorporated communities, and the region is the East San Gabriel Valley region in the easternmost part of the county. It'll lay out a vision which is designed by everyone from residents to businesses and county departments and other agencies, and it'll ultimately help improve where people work and play and live. I'm personally looking forward to working with community members to help them kind of envision what their community means to them and where they want it to go. I hope that through this process, the communities that we work with are given the tools to work with our department to see their dreams for their communities come true.
In 2018, the county will continue efforts related to 11 community standards districts in the Antelope Valley.
The project's all about making life better for communities in Antelope Valley. We're trying to implement the vision for the AV that different communities have had for the area, and we're doing that by modifying the zoning code for their individual community. Making a difference to the communities in Antelope Valley, seeing the small but gradual effect that our work has on making their lives and the built environment a better place, and having a zoning code that really reflects the uniqueness of the Antelope Valley. They all share a common theme of pride in their hometown. So we want to honor that diversity in our work, and one way we do that is by listening to everybody, making sure their voices are heard.
LA County is the largest county in the country in terms of population, and so we really are positioning ourselves with the direction of the Board of Supervisors to be a leader, not just in the region, but really leading the state and then leading the rest of the nation on important issues.